You know, we're not just going through the motions and playing it because it's on our schedule. And the Lady Eagles maybe underestimating this Hatboro team a little bit. Really have a tough task on their hands in the last 8 minutes. Look for the Lady Hatters to try and pull off an upset here in the fourth quarter with 8 minutes of basketball. A lot of time to play. A lot of things could happen. Linda Fife inbounding the ball right in front of us now. And we're underway in the fourth quarter. The pivotal quarter of this basketball game, as this game is a lot closer than we expected it to be. Fife gets the three to go. She finally gets a good roll on one of her jumpers. 3 points from Linda Fife, back out to a 6-point lead. Look for her to try and take over this fourth quarter. Baseline, Rachel Myers, good. Rachel Myers went right around Deaver right there on the baseline. 6 for Rachel Myers. Hatboro Horsham with a quick answer. Bounce pass, and Conlon's gonna get called for a reach-in. She got there about a millisecond too late. And now the 8th team foul will go back with the 1-and-1. Kelly Conlon, her 3rd of the night. Moore and Johnson are going to come into this basketball game, Spelling, Clark, and Deaver. So Clark and Deaver giving Moore and Johnson a well-deserved break. But now Moore and Johnson have got to come into this game and really take over. They've only 4 for Tamisha Johnson, 10 for Leanne Moore. 14 of the 32 coming from them, almost half. But still, really a chance for them to come into this game and try and take over. Jen Northcott pulls down the rebound, however. Give Hatboro Horsham a lot of credit. Jen Northcott, the really only height advantage on this court tonight. She's got to have double-digit rebounds by now. But really, the Hatboro team doing a nice job all around on rebounding. But Leanne Moore says, no thank you. I don't want you putting the ball in the basket. She gets another rejection, adding to her total on the year, which is unbelievable. You would think by the end of her career here at Norris County High School, she'd go down as one of the leading shot blockers. But Marone on the easy drive to the basket. No answer for Heather Marone. She goes into the double digits right now. And with a 2-point game, Norristown will waste a little bit of time off the clock. Moore on the jumper. Ill-advised shot right there, and Heather Marone back the other way. The Hatters a chance to tie. An exciting one here on a Friday night. Kelly Conlon walked with the basketball. Heather Marone didn't get free on the cut. Conlon was expecting her to get free on the cut. A little bit of mix-up right there, a little bit of miscommunication. We'll go back the other way. Sims feeds Fife. Fife tried to go inside. Good denial right there by Jen Northcott. Marshall back to Fife. Nobody's marked her in the corner. Once again, too much English on the 3. And Hatboro another chance to tie, coming back the other way. Northcott on the drive. Jumper no good. Through the hands of Tamisha Johnson. Back out. Julie Burns on the ball fake. Underneath, and she walked with the basketball. Julie Burns maybe looking to do a little bit too much tonight a couple of times. She's had a couple of opportunities to dish the ball. Good feeds underneath. A good point guard will drive inside and take it to the basket. A good point guard also knows when to give up the ball, and Julie Burns just didn't do it right there. Fife double teamed into the hands of Sasha Sims. Sims goes right by her defender. Tried to feed Tamisha Johnson. Lady Eagles not ready for passes right now. Tamisha Johnson took too many steps. A problem for the Lady Eagles tonight. They have not been ready for the passes. Penetration and the pass inside really not working for them tonight, as nobody ready for the pass. Danielle Marshall rejecting Julie Burns on the way to the basket. Big strong block by Danielle Marshall, making her look like she's about 7 feet tall. Marone, feet inside the line, no good. Good box out by Melinda Fife, boxing out the taller player. Fife back the other way, bounce pass to Johnson. She kicked it, and it'll go back to Hatboro Horsham. So very sloppy, a lot of turnovers in the first 3 minutes of the fourth quarter. We're at 32-30. If you're just joining us, you are missing a great one here at Norristown High School. Quite possibly the most exciting game we've seen the girls play this year. Give Hatboro Horsham a lot of credit. They have come in and really given the Lady Eagles a challenge. Burns tried to go to the baseline. She was stripped on her way to the basket. No underneath help for Norristown on defense right there. Fortunate enough for them, Julie Burns just lost it. And I thought that was a backcourt violation, but no, they'll kick out to Marone. Marone drives inside, and she walks with the basketball. I cannot believe the amount of travels tonight. It's really a bad thing for both teams. Is frustrating as you try and drive to the basket and really getting called for a couple of travels that may not have been, but still, well, really have been, but things that you usually don't see called by officials. But Kathy Wolf and Pat Storty really calling this one as tightly as possible tonight. Tried to feed inside, Marshall forced it. Marone to Julie Burns. Marone on the drive, she dribbled it off her foot, and it's going back to Norristown. Tamara Halsey will check back into the game with her 4 fouls. She'll check in for Danielle Marshall. Megan Gould into the game, spelling Julie Burns. We expect to see Burns back in a couple of minutes for that last stretch. Good steal right there by Rachel Myers. She'll go to the basket. Tie ball game. Rachel Myers can't speak tonight. Rachel Myers with 8 points. And the Lady Hatters have fought back to a tie ball game. Sims on the drive. Jumper. Can't get the roll. Tamisha Johnson, throw a rebound, and goes back up with it. Now this one's getting good. Both teams scoring on their trips down the floor. 34-32. Marone on the drive. She was stopped and now gives it to Rachel Myers. Myers goes inside and one. Myers goes to double digits. Foul will go on Leanne Moore. When we come back onto the floor, Rachel Myers a chance to give Hatboro their first lead of the ball game. Boy, do we have a good one on our hands tonight here at Norristown High School. The date February 4th, and this may be the date that both of these teams remember. Hatboro Horsham, if they're able to pull up the upset tonight, will go to 8-13, and maybe a chance for them to make a statement and let some teams know that they will be tough to defeat if they do make the playoffs. Lady Eagles, however, have run into some troubles. They had an easy stretch in their schedule. They knew it was a stretch where they could run off a lot of wins. They got through that point, and now they know that they have a tougher point in their schedule. And going back to the second half, second time of playing teams like Hatboro Horsham, Cheltenham, PW, Souderton, Quakertown, going back and playing those 5 teams for the second time, these teams are going to be ready for Norristown right now. As evident right now from the performance by the Lady Hatters. Rachel Myers. Man, why can I not say that name? I don't know. I will practice it. I will practice it. I will practice it. Maybe have it in my mind by the last 3:10 of this ball game. But she'll go to the line to try and complete the three-point play. Their first lead of the ball game. Norristown with a bit of a sense of urgency right now. Heather Marone did not move the feet. Halsey tried to drive by her. The 9th team foul will go to the line once again.
Foul Marone, the third, team 9.
Heather Marone, her third foul, all 3 coming in this half.
Halsey, 1 and 1.
Tamara Halsey on the 1 and 1. Halsey, no good. Off the hands of Leanne Moore, will go back the other way. A little bit of disbelief over on that far sideline. The girls on the bench and the coach is really looking on. Can't believe that they're down by a point late in the game. At this point, knowing Hatboro was going to be a tough team. A forced play right there, and that will result in a turnover. Now Norristown's really got to be smart with the basketball right now. They've got to convert on this trip down the floor, get that lead back, make Hatboro Horsham beat them on the offensive end. Halsey goes inside, denied by Northcott. Ball bounces back in the hands of Norristown. Now Halsey will set up the play. Bounce pass to Johnson. She was held up inside. She couldn't get to that basketball. Northcott now feeds Marone into the hands of Julie Burns. Burns feeds Northcott on the cut. The turnaround off glass, no good. Myers, no good. Ball's loose on the floor. Tie up, and I think that ball wound up between the feet of Jen Northcott. Possession error will go to Hatboro Horsham. Feed to Marone, feet behind the line. She throws up an air ball. That would have been a big shot for the Lady Hatters. If they had hit that, it would have been a 2-possession ball game, but now Norristown goes back the other way. Under 2, I can't tell you how exciting this is really to watch. This is a game that we expected to be decided by now. Feed inside, Johnson on the isolation with Northcott. Northcott just stood her up, and Johnson couldn't hit the jumper. Heather Marone now, guarded closely by Halsey. Burns trying to get away from Sims. Feeds to Kelly Conlon. Hatboro doing a great job, but just playing a little game of catch right now, just wasting time. Tamisha Johnson guarding Jen Northcott. Northcott doing all she can, and Northcott will call a timeout wisely. We're at 105, and Hatboro Horsham up by 1 point right now, 35-34. Gotta believe if you're Hatboro Horsham, Coach Dennis Steinley just telling his team, be smart with the basketball. Don't make any stupid mistakes. We are in no rush. Hold the ball. Let Norristown have to make a play, make them foul us. If you're on the Norristown bench right now, you've got to be thinking to yourself, okay, when we start to get down to within 30 to 40 seconds, we've got to start thinking about fouling and maybe start to get a chance to get the basketball. If they do foul and Hatboro Horsham makes both their shots, it's still a 3-point game, and a game where the Lady Eagles can come back and maybe hit the 3-pointer. But with 105 left, sometimes you see 105 and you think, okay, well, you're running out of time. But 105 often leads to a lot of distress on both benches, because oftentimes the players will step on the floor and think, okay, we're 105 away from winning this game. You know, we can get to it. But you have to come out and play hard for the, for the whole 32 minutes in high school basketball. Ball goes into Julie Burns. Guarded closely by Fife. Burns got by Fife. Feed to Rachel Myers. Now Northcott will hold it. Tries to get away from Johnson. On the crossover. Great job by Jen Northcott right now, making 3 people miss. Kicks it back out. And now with 40 seconds left, Norristown's got to try and do something. They're pressuring on defense. Coach Jackson looking for the steal, and then now we're going to have a foul. Tamisha Johnson hitting the deck, trying to play defense. That foul is going to be on Tamisha Johnson, number 4 for the center. And now we are in the 1-on-1 situation. Key here that Norristown boxes out, gets that chance to get a shot down the other end. Rachel Myers now will go to the line. She'll try and hit the front end of this 1-on-1. Key foul shots here for Hatboro Horsham, and Myers sticks the first one, ice in her veins. Coach Roger Jackson maybe wanting to plan that possession when they come back down the floor, maybe trying to ice Rachel Myers a little bit. But Hatboro Horsham goes up by 2. Give Hatboro Horsham a lot of credit. Lady Eagles only scoring 34 points tonight. We're used to seeing them get 50 or 60. Only scoring 34 points, 18 in the first half, 16 so far in this half. That would be a great performance, and a performance that you'd be proud to say you played defense against this Norristown team. Once again, the scoring is the problem for the Lady Eagles. Really, we're used to seeing them only give up 36 points. We're used to seeing them score 60. So they're holding true to their defensive average. Their offensive average, however, they are having some problems tonight. Rachel Myers now with the big free throw. She makes both. And now Fife will push back up the floor. Norristown trying to go for a quick one, it looks like. Fife in trouble, into the hands of Sasha Sims. Sims into the hands of Fife. It popped out of her hands. Julie Burns pulls it down, and she traveled with the basketball. Burns fell to the floor, and Coach Roger Jackson trying to settle down the troops with 21.1 left. He wants to try and design a play, maybe get a Sasha Sims or Melinda Fife off a screen to try and hit the 3. Norristown's only hit 3 threes tonight, 2 of them going to Melinda Fife, 1 to Sims. Those are the 2 shooters you would expect to maybe get the ball and hit a 3-pointer at this point. A decision for Coach Jackson. Who's the 5 you put on the floor? Do you try and get the 2 and maybe try and get one more possession out of it, or do you just say we're going for it now? We got to try and tie it. This game winds up tied. Of course, we will go to an overtime period. Be the first one we've seen here. First one I've seen in the 2 years I've been doing these basketball games. For probably the first one in a long time in high school basketball here at Norristown Area High School. Both teams plotting right now, trying to figure out what they're going to do. Hatboro Horsham still in their huddle, and they'll rush out now. Tight defense for 21.1, and the game is theirs, but Norristown wants to try and give them a run. Ladies and gentlemen, let's watch it. Fife feeds to Sims. Fife for 3. Can't get the roll. Rebound goes into the hands of Jen Northcott, and we're going to have a foul. Jen Northcott, a huge rebound underneath. Now we'll walk the length of the floor. Still a 1-and-1. The foul goes to Tamisha Johnson. That is her 5th of the ball game, and Danielle Marshall will check into the game for her. Another timeout called. With 9.1 left, the Lady Eagles in trouble. If Northcott hits the first one, this game appears to be over. And what a crushing defeat it would be for the Lady Eagles, moving on with a 3-game losing streak now. Hatboro Horsham coming in with a 3-game losing streak tonight. May be snapping it here in one of the biggest upsets probably in a long time for this Hatboro team. Like we said, the Lady Eagles will be playing at Plymouth White Marsh High School on Tuesday night. But of course, this one not decided. It could be decided if Jen Northcott hits that first free throw. No real need to grab a rebound right now. 2 players back are Burns and Conlon for Hatboro Horsham. Northcott now with maybe the biggest free throw of the year for her. She gets it to go. That one may have iced it right there. And now Jen Northcott trying to add to her 7-point total. An 8th one would make it a 5-point game. Still 2 possessions either way for Norristown with 9.1 left. Northcott 2 of 2, 8 points now, and now they've got to push. Fife quickly up the floor. She's got to put up a shot quickly, blocked inside, and that one's going to be the ball game. Ladies and gentlemen, give the Hatboro Horsham Hatters a lot of credit. They pull off an upset, 7-13 on the year. They move to 8-13 with a 39-34 victory over the Lady Eagles. Give them a lot of credit. They deserve this one. They worked hard to get to this one. Coach Dennis Steinley talked to me before the game. He said, you know, we've been inconsistent, but just look at the jubilation on the faces of the ladies from Hatboro Horsham. Norristown Lady Eagles moved to 15-6 on the season. Now have got to do a little bit of regrouping as they get towards the last stretch of their schedule. Let's run down the scores for you tonight. For Hatboro Horsham, Rachel Myers was the leading scorer with 13 points, 10 for Heather Marone, 8 for Jen Northcott, 1 for Kelly Conlon, 5 for Julie Burns, and 2 for Megan Gould. For Norristown, who really stalled on offense, not scoring in the last 3 minutes of this ball game. 7 for Melinda Fife, 6 for Tamisha Johnson, 3 for Sasha Sims, 10 for Leanne Moore, and 8 for Tamara Halsey. So the final score, 39-34, an upset here at Norristown High School. Lady Eagles 15-6 with 5 games left in their season, have really got to regroup right now, go back to square one, and really find out what they did right earlier in the season that got them that 10-game winning streak. So for everybody here at Norristown High School, we want to thank the Norristown Area School District for bringing you tonight's game. Our Director of Communications, Mr. Tony Coyer, our Producer Director tonight, Mr. Sam Galbraith, our cameraman, Lou Samba. We want to thank Mr. Dennis Flynn, the athletic trainer here at Norristown High School, for joining us tonight, and thank everybody else who did such a fine job for letting everything run smoothly tonight. For everybody here, my name is Greg Fry. We will see you Tuesday night for boys basketball action, Norristown versus Plymouth White Marsh. Final score 39-34. We'll see you next time for Norristown High School basketball.